Hey everyone, this is your host Red and my partner Lorie, and this is the Marketing Material Handling Webcast.
That's right. And this is our first show today. So, Red and I are here to introduce ourselves and also talk about our introduction into the world of material handling.
And the world of podcast,
Mm,
right?
that's right.
So, as we said, Lorie, you and I, even if we have one audience,
Right.
it's fine.
Like us, if we are the audience.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you that my mom is going to be watching this. So, for sure, we will have one audience.
Hi, Mom.
And maybe my wife and my family.
Oh,
But yeah, but anyway, like Lorie said, this is the Marketing Material Handling Webcast. And in today's first episode, we will be talking about the show itself, what we thought it would be, and what we think it's going to be. You guys will discover along with us what this show will be all about.
yep.
But in essence, like Lorie and I said, this show is, let me flash how we define the show. It's hosted by Lorie and myself, and it's about marketing in the material handling industry. Our expert guests will share their knowledge as it applies to our business. Like Lorie would know, and she's been in the business longer than myself. The material handling industry is not your um, uh, end consumer type of market. Some would say it's a boring market.
I always say
Although,
it's not very sexy.
yeah, but Lorie and I will make it sexy. Yeah, yeah. So Lorie, like we were saying, like the show, um, the material handling industry, it's a different type of market. It's a different type of
Mhm.
marketing, and we are here to, invite experts to share what they know as it applies to our business. The principles of marketing are the same. They're the principles, but it
Mhm.
will have some tweaks so that it will apply to our industry. Like, right, Lorie?
Mhm. Yeah, I think the other thing is material handling typically is a B2B, business to business. And that's the other thing that we don't really think about when we get into marketing is we grow up seeing all the ads that are targeted towards us as the actual consumer. And then you grow up and you realize that you're actually going to be marketing to businesses quite a bit. So I think it makes this particular industry unique.
Yes, and even our target audience, our customer avatar, is
Mm-hmm.
different because it's the material handling space.
Sure.
There's a lot of business to business, but there's different. You can be selling to let's say a supermarket,
Right.
and the person you're targeting has a different mindset, has different things that they're looking for, and we want to touch those, which is different from your other consumers or your other buyers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's difficult to get, I think, everybody talks about a customer persona, or they'll
yeah.
say, Lori, who's your target customer? And I have for years really struggled how to answer that question. Because we deal with businesses of every size, and with those sizes come different types of contacts for sure.
hmm and the good thing about this too, and that's why I wanted to pursue this along with you, Lorie, is as we talk to these experts and we will learn from them. We will know like how to target, how what message to say, and personally for myself, I wanted to do this show so that I will be a better marketer. Because we get to talk to experts for free.
Mhm,
We don't have to
mhm.
pay. You know, we want to save
Right.
money.
Don't tell anybody.
We
Yeah,
have no viewer.
cut
We
that
have
part
only
out,
one
Red. Cut
viewer.
that part out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think, where I have been concerned about falling behind is the technology. The technology changes so rapidly. We had to embrace technology that we already had at our fingertips before 2020 happened,
hmm
and we chose not to use it. because nobody was forcing us to use the technology until 2020 happened. And so now I feel like it's opened my eyes to all these things that are available
Hmm.
to us, and that I'm personally not using. And so that makes me curious. I want to talk to more people that understand what that can bring to our business.
Yeah, and you would agree that this will help both you and I
Oh,
professionally with
yeah.
skills and
Oh,
knowledge,
yeah.
right?
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure. How do you take what's out there and translate it to the world of material handling? I
Hmm.
don't think that material handling is the first thing that people think of when they develop the technology.
Yeah.
And so we have to then be the people that are, seeing what's out there and relating it to our business.
Hmm. And like you would be surprised, a lot of people do not really know even forklifts. Like
Right.
normal people say, "Where do you work for?" I work for a forklift company.
What?
What
Yeah.
forklift,
Why?
right? We know because we're in it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's up to you and I to, like you said, make this one sexy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you ever noticed that after you talk to a friend or even like a vendor partner, and they never knew who you were before, and then as soon as they meet you and you tell them what you do, like you'll get a text within the next couple of days,
I
a
felt
picture
forklift.
of the service van. Yeah. And I'm like, we've always been out there.
Yeah.
But they're just now recognizing it because they met us and learned about it.
Yeah. I think there's I forgot what they call the RES, where it's like you know what I'm talking about, right? You know when you own a Honda Civic,
Mm-hmm.
then you see a lot of
Then
Honda
you
Civic.
see everybody has it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it's kind of like that. But well, anyway, so our next part of this show, Lori, is discovering you and myself,
Mhm.
like the host.
Mhm.
I've known you for a bit, but there's still a lot to know about you, and I guess you about me.
Mhm.
So, can I interview you, and can you interview me?
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Well, so marketing is for those that don't know, Lori is the marketing manager for ProLift. And is that your first company that you work for, or did you work prior?
I only worked for one other company before I came to ProLift, and
Hmm.
it was the Yellow Pages
Oh,
industry. So,
what
um,
is the Yellow Pages?
I know, like way back in the day, y'all, we all had Yellow Pages and we got these big books, and that's how we found companies and people that we needed to talk to. So I was in charge of target advertising, where we put tracking numbers into the ads and we saw how many people called that ad to make sure that they were getting a good ROI. And that became pretty boring pretty quickly. And a year later, I happened to be helping a friend out with her resume. And I looked in the paper, because this is how you also found jobs, is you looked in your local paper and there
Hmm.
was a job listing for a marketing coordinator at ProLift.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, I'm here helping her redo her resume. I'll redo mine too. And I put it in, and 2 weeks later, I came here. So I'm going on my 22nd year now here.
Wow,
Mm-hmm. I
that's been a
know.
while.
It's been a while. I've seen a lot of changes.
Wow, were forklifts like orange back then?
They were still orange,
Okay.
and we still had Toyotas at ProLift anyway.
Yeah.
But we were just introducing the 7 Series. And so, that's a big deal in forklift land because it takes a long time for engineering to change anything. So now we're starting to introduce the 9, but yeah, it was a long, long time ago.
Wow. So you're OG.
Yeah.
You're OG in the
I
in marketing material
Look,
handling.
when I walked into the door, there was no website, and there were only 2 people that had access to the internet.
Hmm.
Plus, they paid by the minute. They paid
Hmm.
for internet. That just blows me away. And we had internal email. That's how we communicated with each other, but we didn't have external email. So Outlook wasn't a thing. Everything was sent by mail or fax or hand delivered. It was a completely different world.
Wow.
Hmm.
And I've been hearing back in the day, the marketing department doesn't play such a bigger role as it does right
Oh
now,
gosh, no.
right? And marketing in back in the days, like just to the side, you make our newspaper ads, right?
Right. You made a flyer,
Yeah.
you put a logo on a hat.
Hmm.
There were days that I felt like shipping and receiving, because that's what I was doing. Was I was tossing promo items into a box and sending them off to people for giveaways.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the purpose and who we touch, what we do is completely changed. Digital has changed all of that for marketing.
Which kind of is good for us because then
Hmm.
we get like the recognition and attribution of and how we
Hmm.
contribute to the business.
Yeah.
Um, in our company, marketing plays a big role in like just putting things together and being like the gel of like how like really moving the business forward.
Hmm.
And I would assume it's the same for you. But back in the day, I would like I said, it's probably yellow pages.
Yeah, that's right. I used to laugh because people did have fax machines and actually used them back then. And
Hmm.
for a while, that was the hip thing. It was called WinFax, right? And so
Wow.
you developed a flyer and you faxed it overnight so that it was waiting on their machine when they walked into work the next morning.
And they call you.
Oh, yeah, everybody called, right?
Wow.
But WinFax was that was huge. So,
Yeah,
now nobody really has a fax machine, and when you do, you're too embarrassed to put the number out to publicly say that you do.
I know, right? You still have a fax
What?
machine?
Why?
Yeah, yeah. And now you're the. When did you become the marketing manager for ProLift?
Yeah, so I started as the marketing coordinator. One thing that ProLift had right away when I walked in the doors, they had inside sales,
Hmm.
which that to me, that was super forward thinking back then, because there's a lot of people in the material handling world that still don't do inside sales.
Wow.
Um, and I think within 6 months of being here, I was managing that small team of people. So, that was a huge change. And plus, even the person that brought me on also left in that period of 6 months. So I
Okay.
was kind of stranded there for a minute without a manager to go to, but somebody else did come in.
Hmm.
And I think about 7 years later, I was promoted to the marketing manager here. So,
Okay.
yeah, so the bulk of my journey, I would say that I have been the manager here. But the beauty of marketing at least in material handling when you're at a dealership is you're touching a little bit of everything.
Hmm.
You know, you're learning email marketing, you're doing the flyers, doing the apparel, all those things, the
Yeah.
vehicle graphics. And I think that makes us really different than
Well rounded.
yeah, I mean, really, honestly. So, like, when I think about that shift from being that marketing coordinator into the manager, I mean, yes, I had more responsibility, but I
Hmm.
had been touching all of those things too. So I wasn't going in, um, cold turkey, not really understanding what those things are. So I always tell people that's the beauty of this area is you don't have to be a specialist and all you know is one or two things. You really get to see the
Yeah.
world of marketing and lean into what you take
Hmm.
naturally to.
Hmm. 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 Yeah. Well, so that's been about 15 years now, Lori.
Mhm.
If you're there 22, about 14, 15 years that
Yeah,
you're. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
OG, like I said.
I am OG, and I'm really OG.
OG in the marketing material handling.
Yeah, marketing. A lot of dealerships didn't tend to have marketing managers. When I started, there were only 4 people in the US from a Toyota dealership network, anyway, that were considered marketing managers.
Hmm.
So that's pretty wild, and it's been exciting to see the growth in the entire industry.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I I saw you guys, met you guys about 3 years ago, 3, 4 years
Mhm.
ago, and
Mhm.
yeah, I bet there's a lot of changes from when you started up until like recently in terms
Mhm.
of like now there's more marketing managers. We even have marketing managers meetings. You didn't have that
Correct.
in the
We
past, no?
didn't have that.
Yeah,
Nope. We
yeah.
did not have that. In the very first one, we met in a conference room.
Hmm.
There were maybe 15 of us, and
Uh-huh.
it definitely didn't represent 15 companies. It
Uh-huh.
just happened to be 15 people.
Okay.
Um, and and we didn't nearly talk about the big topics that particular year that we talk about today. So the conversations have really completely matured and
Mm-hmm.
changed. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, if I could tell you a little bit about my experience.
Yeah, because I asked you the other day, I'm like, how in the world did you even get introduced to material handling? And he wouldn't tell me. He wanted me to wait. So
Yeah.
I'm learning with
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. No, because I don't want to do scripts or write things up because it just comes out. But like I said, I've been marketing manager for close to 4 years now with Lifto. But I've been with Lifto for I would say about 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Um, so my journey is like I came from the Philippines. I worked for one company there. It's big in the bakery industry. I was a technical sales representative that they call, which I was selling bread products, bread making products, and how I would sell it is if I demonstrate that it works. That's
Ah,
the essence of
okay.
that job. And because I was in this industry, the company that I worked for sent me to school to become a master baker. Which
Well, now I know where your cooking skills
yeah,
are coming from.
no.
Okay.
But seriously, I studied bakery science and technology. They sent me to school, so I became an expert in baking.
Wow.
So I have like selling skills and baking skills. So a company in the U.S. hired me, that's in Orange County in California, to set up a plant bakery for them. So I stayed in the States for 6 years. For in the first 2 years, I set up that bakery, and then for the next four, I handled the marketing for that meat processing company. So that's how I got into making websites, making flyers, doing photography, doing video. Because back in the day,
Wow, Brett.
even if it's not a material handling business, marketing still has not a lot of budget. So
Right. I
I
agree.
got to learn how to do the website because I didn't want to pay any people a lot of money to do our websites.
Mm-hmm.
So and photography and all of that. So I learned those skills that when I moved to Canada, I came here in June 2007, July 2007, and in October I got hired by Lifto as
Okay.
a web designer
Okay.
because I learned how to make websites from that previous job.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I've been in 3 countries and I work for 3 companies only. I stay with one company in each
That's
country.
impressive.
So when you say earlier well-rounded, just like
Mm-hmm.
yourself,
Mm-hmm.
I'm well-rounded in terms like everything that is involved: photography, video, graphic design, web design, marketing principles, all of that. Um, we have it right because we get to see all
Yeah.
of that. And
Yeah.
that's one of my challenges is because I know how to do things, is that when I hire things out, I know when like
Oh my
just
goodness. Yeah.
they're just milking me for money or not. Then that makes me, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think the other piece that I have found is it's just not an industry that people know.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of ways, very conservative. So when you or when we would go to an agency, the agency wanted to be really creative and maybe inject humor, all kinds of things. Now I
Mhm.
can appreciate that, right? I can think that it's funny, but I'm just was never sure that it was going to be the right thing for the customers. So it did cause a lot of, we'll just kind of do it in house. We'll figure out how to do all the messaging and content and everything in house because we truly know the
Mhm.
vibe of the customer and the company. But yeah, yeah, that has been a big deal. I think it's made it more difficult to delegate, to kind of get some of our time back, is
Yeah.
because we just feel like we're doing it all anyway, sharing the pictures, sharing the copies. So,
Yeah, yeah. But that is like kind of like tricky because
hmm
in my case, I find it hard to give it because I know how to do it, but at the
hmm
same time, since I'm not giving it out, it's not getting done.
that's
And
right.
I
That's
want to do it.
exactly right.
You know
And
what I'm
we got
saying?
to be open to new ideas on top of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know it is. It's a struggle.
Well, that's the thing. Is the good thing is with our which next on our agenda here is the topics that we will be talking about in this show is we will get to meet people that can really help, give ideas, give techniques, show new technology to us. And right here at the bottom are the topic that we're looking to touch during the course of our like show.
Mhm.
Hopefully, we get to 10 seasons, Lori.
That we don't get canceled before then, right? They
Well,
rip the
who's gonna
contract
cancel us?
out.
We have one viewer, right? We control the show.
We'll have to send out a customer focus survey to
Yeah,
see how we're doing. Like,
yeah,
really, yeah.
yeah. Anyway, right there, you see digital marketing, social media marketing, and general marketing. This is a very general,
hmm
but I
But
think
broad.
yeah, but if you would like dissect this, there's so many topics we can
Right.
talk about.
Right.
Digital would be your usual suspects will be the PPC, right? PPC agencies,
hmm
PPC techniques, SEOs,
Yeah.
display
Any kinds of
marketing.
content,
Yeah,
video, blogging,
yeah,
lead generation fits
yeah,
in there a little bit because
yeah.
so much of that's digital.
Content marketing. I would like to really learn about that. So if we can find an
Mm,
expert on content marketing,
mhm.
how you do your drip marketing or what do you call that? Nurture marketing based on
Yeah.
content. I
Yeah.
would like to really learn about that. Social media marketing, there's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. There's so many topics we can touch on those.
Yeah.
Like funnel pages, general marketing, because we're not just going to be talking about digital. We still
Mhm.
have our vans, we still have our flyers
That's true.
that we
Yeah.
do. How effective psychology of all of that, right?
I even want to know because I've read things even about mailing and
Hmm.
especially with millennials. And I read this a little while ago, but it was the idea that if you actually sent out a mailer, that it was more believable than digital content. Because we've come to know that while there's a ton of things out there that you can find, you don't really know how legitimate that it is. But if somebody sends you a piece of mail, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is real. They're backing it up. And so I haven't done mailers in a long time, but they're always in the back of my mind thinking, am I just not figuring out the new creative spin on how to do it? So it still interests me.
Yeah, I believe that, especially now, because if you think
Mhm.
about it, that is the disruption now.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we're
true.
all digital, 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 and you get, oh, I got a postcard from
Got
home,
something. And it's not a bill.
right? It's a disruption. So, but yeah, one of the things I wanted to say, if hopefully people will see the show, is if you have suggestions on types of topics or who we can guest here, give
Mhm.
us. We already are lining up guests, but if you have like suggestions, let us know.
Yeah.
So that's actually one of the things we should ask at the end of all our shows if they have uh,
Yeah.
messages and topic suggestions and all that. Let us know. So, but yeah, so that is the general topics that we will cover. Obviously, as it pertains to the material handling industry, we
Yeah,
will
I think
not be
so.
inviting a B2C expert. It has to work in our industry.
Yeah, I think it's more about the concepts or technology that are being used
Hmm.
and how it can relate to what we're doing. And that just really, I don't know, that makes you curious. It
Yeah.
makes us kind of look at things and turn it just a little bit to see how it's going to work for us. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, it is. So, next on our agenda here, Lori, is
Mhm.
aside from topics, we want to feature
Mhm.
success stories, innovation in business, not just in marketing, maybe innovation in sales or innovation in our industry.
Mhm.
Maybe,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
a forklift or a material handling equipment that does something that is uh, innovative, like
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
So, something
I
like
think
that.
I call it the cool stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Cool stuff.
and you know, it's stuff that sometimes it can even be really basic, right? Like vehicle graphics. Somebody might consider vehicle graphics pretty
Hmm.
basic and standard. But how you really go through that creative process, and how you even bring in other team members of your company to do it who don't know anything about creating vehicle graphics. Like, we've recently gone through something like that, and it's just amazing to see people get creative and excited
Hmm.
about taking an idea and making it come to life. So I love the cool stuff because you don't have to start like be all by yourself. You can come to somebody and say, "Tell me how you did it. Tell me how it's working," and then you just design it again back for what you need it for.
Yeah, even like materials to use, right?
Right? Yeah.
Like this, why I like our format, our show format, Lori, is it's gonna be hard for us to run out of topics or things to talk about. So I
Sorry,
think
we
we
have a
can get
thousand
to
tangents to do.
yeah, we can get to 10 seasons. I would agree.
Easy by
Yeah, easy.
tomorrow.
But speaking of that, seasons, next, or I did not write it in the agenda here, but show frequency. We were talking about every 3 weeks, Lori. What is
Yeah.
in your mind?
Yeah, I think that's good. It keeps us focused.
Hmm.
We definitely don't want to set it to the side and 6 months later go, "Hey, Red, you think maybe we should do episode 2?" I don't know.
This is a yearly show. Yeah.
So yeah, I think every 3 weeks.
And
That gives us time to kind of really work with people's schedules and
mhm,
make sure that we've got some good topics on board.
yeah, yeah. And publishing will probably be on a Thursday, you think?
Whenever you publish it, Red, works for me.
Well, the thing is why I wanted like a fixed schedule because
Yeah.
at some point this will be a live show.
Oh, yeah.
Um, not right in the first few ones it will be recorded, but at some point it will be a live show. Why I like live shows, Lori, is because you and I are busy, and
Yeah.
if it's live, I will not do any editing.
Yeah.
We'll go
Yeah.
on, and in the live scenario too, the audience is more forgiving. You can make mistakes, you can fumble, they're fine with that.
Mhm.
So like I said, at some point we will do a live show. That's why if it's a Thursday at 3 p.m.,
Mhm.
let's have it that. So it's gonna be a regular thing now,
Okay.
and our one audience would look out for. Oh, I want to be there next
That's true. I
Thursday,
mean, they're
3
going to have
p.m.
their calendar marked. They're
Yeah,
going to be looking forward to it.
yeah, yeah,
I don't want to let that person down.
yeah, yeah. So that makes you and I committed. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
write down every three Thursdays at 3 p.m.
Mhm. Okay.
Are you fine with that?
I think most of the time I will be, yeah. And we'll just fluctuate when we need to.
Okay. Well, there you go, Lori. That is what do you call
A
our
wrap?
first episode?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Isn't that what Bugs Bunny does at the end? They do the that's a wrap or some sort of
No, I think they say that's all, folks.
that's all. I was not even close.
That's a wrap. Well, that's is the same.
Same idea.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Lori, I'll see you on
Yes.
the next show. I'll end with our very nice cartoon faces.
Yes.
But we'll see you again, Lori, and see
Thank you for
you.
anybody watching.
Yeah, there you go. Bye, Lori.
Bye, Red.
Bye, everyone.